Good morning, honorable adjudicator, respected opponents, and members of the audience. My name is Iris, and I'm the Prime Minister. Today, our team strongly supports the motion. This House would ban personalized ads on internet. We believe that we should ban personalized advertisements so we don't have a higher chance of someone or something tracking us on the internet. When we say personalized ads, we mean if we looked up shoes, let's say, we would get lots and lots of ads about shoes because we looked it up. Our policy is that banning personalized ads from to help people from getting tracked on the internet. If they still put a personalized ad in front of a person, they could be sued from legal court or to even getting a fine up to $6 million. The purpose of this policy is so we can help the people's safety, self-esteem, and privacy. I will be presenting our first argument. They don't know they're being tracked. 2, my second speaker will be presenting our second argument of somebody might steal their personal information. I believe that we should ban personalized advertising because people will know they were being tracked. If they are being tracked, their trust on companies will be going down, leading to people feeling sad and unstable, and could lead to instability and mental health issues. This is because their mental health would be decreasing since they feel like they're being seen or tracked all over there. This could lead to so many other problems, landing them into psychiatry units. Thank you.
Just the proposition wants to ban personalized advertising because they believe that it invades privacy and manipulates consumers. However, whether banning personalized advertisement is entirely creates a better internet. Today, the proposition will tell you that because some companies misuses personal data, we should eliminate the entire system that helps the consumers discover relevant products, allows businesses to grow efficiently, and keeps the internet free. We stand firmly in opposition for this motion. Moving on to 3 layers of my setup. Number 1, in the status quo, in today's world, the companies use information such as like browsing history, previous like purchases, and like online interest to recommend the advertisements that are relevant to the individual's like user. So the consumers continue to choose whether to click on these advertisements or to ignore them, while the businesses rely on those like personalized advertisements to reach the customers who are genuinely interested in that product. This system generates the advertising revenue that like funds countless like free digital services used by like billions of people every day. Our stance is that we support a world where many like consumers receive the advertisements that are actually useful instead of like random spams, and businesses can efficiently reach the willing customers, and the governments prevent privacy abuses rather than banning the entire advertising model. Our burden today is to prove that banning personalized like advertisements causes more harm than good by reducing consumer convenience, harming businesses, and weakening the digital economy. Before moving on to substantive arguments, I would like to make some key rebuttals. The proposition has argued about how personalized like advertisements violates like people's privacies. However, this is simply not true because the problem is not personalized advertising itself. It is the irresponsible data collection. If the companies collect the data without meaningful consent or misuse of like personal information, the government must regulate those practices directly. It is not because of the personalized advertising. Further points will be made by the deputy speaker. Now, moving on to our first argument, which is about how personalized advertising benefits the consumers by making the internet more useful. The consumers go online with like different interests, like needs and like preferences. So the personalized advertising is used to help to connect the consumers with the product and the services that they're already looking for, instead of forcing them to like sift through like countless like irrelevant advertisings. If some people have been like researching or running shoes or like university like courses, for example, receiving advertisements related to those interests save times rather than creating inconvenience. Furthermore, personalized advertisements allows consumers to discover products, services, and small businesses that has never been encountered otherwise. Instead of only seeing like advertisements from like multinational like corporations that can afford like expensive mass like marketing campaigns, consumers can be introduced to like businesses specifically relevant to their interests. The proposition assumes that all targeted advertisements are harmful simply because they're personalized. However, removing eliminate the advertising itself. It just simply replaces the useful advertisements with random and like irrelevant ones. It has nothing to do with the consumer's interest. Now, moving on to the second argument, which is about how personalized like advertisements creates an like economic efficiency and supports like small businesses. So personalized advertising allows the businesses to spend their marketing and like budgets efficiently by reaching like consumers who are actually interested in their product, instead of paying to advertise to like millions of completely unrelated people. This is especially important for startups and like small businesses that cannot afford like nationwide advertising campaigns. The proposition creates a world where businesses pay more to achieve worse results, while consumers like ultimately bear the cost through like higher prices, fewer free services, and like reduced competition. Lastly, moving on to comparatives. In the propositions world, the consumers continue seeing advertisements, but they're like largely irrelevant and like unhelpful. The businesses waste like substantive resources advertising to audiences with no interest in their products, making it harder for like startups and smaller firms to compete. However, in the opposition's world, the consumers receive advertisements that are relevant to their interests while maintaining a freedom to ignore them. Businesses advertise efficiently, allowing both the small and like large firms to compete fairly. Proud to oppose.
Honorable adjudicators, respected opponents, and members of the audience. My name is Oliver, and I am the Deputy Prime Minister. In my speech, I will first respond to the opponent's main arguments, then I will explain why we should ban personalized advertising. They say banning personalized advertisements. They said that banning personalized advertisements is bad because businesses would not be improving. Now I will move to my arguments. I believe that we should ban personalized advertising because people would steal personal information from people. If people steal personal information, it would lead to people feeling insecure, which would lead to more people getting mental health problems by having more stress, by feeling insecure. As a result, the country's happiness index would drop. This matters because mental health of people would be damaged. Our argument matters more because we are talking about people's mental health being damaged, where the opposition is talking about business opportunities. Thank you.
You just love the cute summer dresses that the celebrities are wearing on the internet. You really want these products on the internet and on the Instagram posts that you keep on scrolling through. And then you find it, not by spending hours on the search engine hacking for the exact outfit, but through these personalized ads that even find you better similar ones. This is a world we give you, so proud to oppose. Now, before I move on to my team's third and final argument, let me move on to some brief rebuttals to their third argument, which was on how the people would steal personal information from the consumers. But Judge, although our first speaker has already exhaustively responded to this first argument, then just going straight on to the impact on how the people's happiness index would drop because their personal information are hacked from the consumers isn't really feasible, right? We need more mechanization and we need more explanation beyond this point to actually understand what they mean by how the by how, first of all, why is it feasible that the companies would steal the personal information when they actually want to sell the products in the first place, and why they will abuse this information when their only incentive is to actually sell the products. And secondly, and explain why the impact of this is even greater than what we give you, like which is convenience and effectiveness in the market and the economic boost, right? Then moving on to some points is the fact that they never rebutted to either of our first or second arguments, which shows their lack of engagement, and we want them to rebut this again as well. Then moving on to some exclusivity points in our world. Then, Judge, in Proposition's world, they said that they help the consumers by not exposing them too much to the ads, which might possibly lead them to hacks and whatever, right? But they frame it like the word, like the world with convenience is harmful. But Judge, just because we make our world convenient, effective, and efficient doesn't necessarily mean that our world is harmful, right? In fact, it's the opposite in our world. Unlike Proposition's world, where they limit the consumers to only hours of searching online to get what they want, in Opposition's world, we tell you that we save their time actually, right? In our world, we help them find what they want within seconds and give them various options that they actually like to choose from. And we believe that nothing's wrong with that, because it's like going to a mall, but a mall with personalized clothes that you love, so that you can shop fast and dedicate your day to other things as well, like spending time with your family and etc., and whatever you might want to spend your time in, right? Therefore, we take the exclusive point on efficiency and the stakeholders' main interest, which I will talk about more deeply right now. So then moving on to the incentives of these consumers. Then, Judge, the wants of the consumers are pretty straightforward in today's debate. They're called the consumers for a reason, because they consume and they want to buy things that they actually want and crave for quickly. And this is because once they decide they want a certain product and they want it fast. Think about it. If you find a perfect pair of shoes for you, would you want to wait until it disappears? No, the time pressure is a factor. Moreover, it is natural for a person to want it fast when they sense that they like a product and they want to see it on them. And we allow this better in our world, even help the consumers to reach their products fast. Therefore, since we better fulfill the incentives of the consumers by giving them the things and options they want fast, we sure win in this large point in today's debate. Then moving on to my third and final argument on the necessity of this ban, because really we need to question this. Like, why do we ban this in today's day? Because there's essentially no harm, right? Why is this true? Judge, Proposition keeps on telling you that personalized advertisements are harmful because they make consumers buy more and invade privacy and etc. But this is clearly wrong for many reasons. Firstly, Judge, on the point of privacy, this argument and point itself is very extreme and non-realistic, right? As even in our leader of opposition, and I keep on emphasizing, once you're on the internet, you're no longer completely private. In fact, even on their side of the world, YouTube still exists, right? This means that algorithms still exist on their side, and algorithms basically work the same as personalized advertisement by collecting the user's data. So unless they explain why YouTube should still exist while they ban personalized advertisement, which by the way we proved you are highly effective and benefits to consumers, they cannot take the strongest point in today's debate. And even if you say and be charitable as to say that this privacy argument still can stand, they actually our point still stands, because they need to go farther and beyond this point and actually prove why this privacy is so great. Because even with even in our world, we still provide the privacy, because even without the data being even with the data being collected, we still say that the advertising companies can their main incentive is to actually sell the products and not steal, right? So for all these reasons, could be more proud to oppose in today's debate. Thank you.
Honorable adjudicators, respected opponents, and members of the audience. My name is Sofia, and I am the government witness. Today, in this speech, I will outline the two main clashes in this debate. The first clash is choice against trust. The opposition talks about how people should choose if they click on links or not. And we talk about if trust is going to be violated, which it will. The weak step in their argument is there can also be non-personalized ads and non-online ads too. And if you ban personalized ads, then the number of those annoying pop-ups will decrease dramatically. Their argument, because their reasoning is flawed, their argument is not very strong. And even if they were right, their world offers choice, but our world offers trust and less annoying ads. The second class is between if there should be convenience or not. But convenience can also lead to laziness, because people are too lazy to just actually find the things they want. And most of the time, people don't even look at the ads online. They look at the ones in the street instead. The deputy opposition leader also talked about how if do we really need a ban because people want to buy more. And they also talked about if YouTube should be banned, which is completely irrelevant to the motion. Therefore, the judge should prefer our side. Thank you.
So my speech will consist of giving two clashes that mainly happened in this debate. First clash is on whether personalized advertising is considered a violation of privacy-like proposition claims from the get-go, right? The proposition team came up today and talked about how using data is like violating users' privacy, and the first speaker talked about this risk of tracking and so on. But Judge, firstly, we already rebutted to this idea a lot in our previous speaker, and secondly, even if we omit that short, people may feel violated to a certain extent. This is not a good justification enough to do a whole complete blanket ban. Why? Because in status quo, the harsh reality is that if you're just online and, for example, on these like social media apps like Instagram, messages, whatever, then that user still has a chance of getting hacked and all these other risks that they mentioned, that proposition mentions, like getting tracked. This harm still exists in their world. Banning does not suddenly make this internet a safe place like they claim. That is all just a fantasy that they're trying to paint. Algorithms is an example. Hacking into an account is another. Because you're banning this personalized advertisement does not mean that hackers and these people with incentives to harm these users and use these personal information like they claim will suddenly disappear as well, right? And we believe that this ban is not justifiable especially because all of these other benefits that both companies and consumers get from personalized advertising still exist, as we mentioned in our previous speeches, right? Their side confuses data collection and using data collection to actually provide benefits to both companies and consumers with this idea of harm, right? The mere fact that data is collected does not automatically mean that someone's privacy has been seriously violated. Most personalized advertising relies on this browsing behavior, and like what they purchase, etc., etc. It is not companies like reading their bios and like reading private messages and going into their like messages with their moms or something. This is not the case, right? So if we weigh both sides on three metrics, we win this clash. Firstly, on effectiveness, we win because while proposition suddenly resorts to a blanket ban that does not even solve the problem of safety that they're trying to solve. Instead, in our world, we can still have the benefits of personalized advertising while also protecting users through strengthening already existing alternatives like better cybersecurity, etc. There are alternatives that do not include this whole blanket ban, right? Secondly, we win on impact because in their world, sure, let's be nice and say that users will feel relieved and comfortable knowing advertisements are no longer personalized. But first of all, these people, if they actually care that much about these security issues like proposition claims, they'll still feel unsafe because of this thing called feed and algorithms, right? The harm of tracking hacking still exists once again in their side. Instead, on our side, consumers can reach their products fast and businesses, especially small ones, can boost their economy and so on. And probably we also win because personalized advertising provides useful recommendations every day to millions of users, right? Propositions claim privacy improvement is not certain at all because it depends on their assumption that they never even prove that banning personalized ads meaningfully actually reduces these privacy violations. Therefore, we win this clash and their whole case gets taken down. Second clash shortly, which was on which world better helps the consumers/users, right? Their mechanism was how like people will get mental health issues, but they never provide a mechanism behind it in the first place. And just because of some ads, it is not likely that these people will suddenly get like so depressed and so on just because they see some personalized ads, right? In turn, actually, it's better for our side because it actually helps these consumers because they can find and shop for things that they actually have an interest in. And it is more likely on our side that people will find this happiness if they see something that they're interested in, right? So for all these reasons, so proud to oppose.
Judge, one clear mistake that the proposition made throughout this debate is continuing to portray the personalized advertisement as a root cause of privacy violations and mental health problems, even after we prove that these harms come from the irresponsible data practices and harmful advertising content, not from the personalization itself. Instead of targeting the actual problem, they just chose the most extreme solution possible by banning the entire system that benefits the consumers and the businesses alike. Firstly, there are some clear flaws from the side proposition. Not only did they repeat the same point multiple times, they failed to acknowledge our central point that banning personalized advertisement does not solve the privacy issue itself. The companies collect user data for many reasons beyond advertising, including fraud prevention, and account management, and simply banning those personalized advertisements does not stop the data collections. If their concern is privacy, the logical solution is regulating how the data is collected and used, not eliminating the entire advertising model that the consumers voluntarily benefit from. They also exaggerate the mental health problems by blaming the personalization rather than the advertisements itself. Harmful advertisements can exist even if every user sees the exact same advertisement. If beauty standards, gambling promotions, and misleading products are the concern, then regulate those specific advertisements. And the proposition never explains why removing personalization is necessary when the harmful content could still exist under their world. Finally, they ignore the enormous benefit that the personalized advertisements provide to ordinary consumers. Throughout this debate, they speak as though those personalized advertisements is manipulation, yet they never engage with our argument that the consumers save time and discover products that they genuinely want and gain access to smaller businesses that would otherwise never reach them. Furthermore, they assume that personalization removes the consumer's choice, but those consumers are never forced or manipulated to purchase anything simply because they can see the relevant advertisements, and the consumers remain fully capable of just ignoring those advertisements that they think are irrelevant. So proud to oppose.
At the end of this debate, the main question is whether business opportunities is more important than mental health. The first clash was about giving people what they want. Their side told you that if people get what they want, that people will get what they want. However, our side showed you that people will lose trust in the companies. We win this clash because losing trust clearly is more important than businesses earning more. The second clash was about violating privacy. Their side wanted you to believe that online using platforms online also violates privacy, but our side proved that people will lose trust. This matters more because mental health is damaged. Overall, our side wins this debate because we are talking about mental health. We solved the bigger problem by solving people from losing trust. While their side failed to prove that business opportunities help humans better than losing trust. So therefore, our team proudly begs to propose. Thank you.